Welcome to this video on Winter Swans by Owen Shears from the AQA Love and Relationships Anthology Poetry Unit. Let's go. So, Winter Swans. The clouds had given their all. 2 days of rain and then a break in which we walked. The waterlogged earth gulping for breath at our feet as we skirted the lake, silent and apart, until the swans came and stopped us with a show of tipping in unison, as if rolling weights down their bodies to their heads had halved themselves in the dark water. Icebergs of white feather paused before returning again, like boats righting in rough weather. They mate for life, you said as they left, porcelain over the stilling water. I didn't reply, but as we moved on through the afternoon light, slow stepping in the lake's shingle and sand, I noticed our hands had somehow swum the distance between us and folded over one another the other, like a pair of wings settling after a flight. So this is, I guess, a poem about reconciliation in romantic relationships. I mean, so often we're seeing relationships fall apart or just passion and, no sense that anything could go badly. This is one where we see a reconciliation, like a kind of forgiveness almost. And that's because, if we start with the title, two things here. So swans, they're creatures that mate for life, right? So already that word swan is reflecting this idea of a bond, right? Winter swans, now of course winter, very cold, dreary, could it be a sort of hint that this love is in danger in some ways, possibly? But I guess the final word there being swans pushes you towards the idea that this is a couple that will ultimately find a way through. We begin with very natural imagery. The clouds had given their all. To give your all is a phrase that means, you've got nothing left to give. It's often a phrase that we associate when people might be about to break up. I did everything I could. I gave it my all, but it just wasn't enough. So is there a kind of hint at a certain kind of pain here? If we move to imagery, 2 days of rain and then a break. Rain obviously reflecting sadness, if we're thinking here about pathetic fallacy. And then a break in which we walked. So the we emerges here, this together, this couple, they walked. The waterlogged earth gulping for breath at our feet. So there's lots of hints in there. There's a kind of tone of struggle, waterlogged, gulping, trying to find air. And the air, I guess, could reflect like a sort of a returning to each other. As we skirted the lake, silent and apart. So no sound. Again, there's a sense of pain here, and apart, well, that's about distance. Until the swans came and stopped us. So the swans act as a visual metaphor here, right? The visual and the metaphor is for reconciliation, with a show of tipping in unison. The word unison means together, same time, as if rolling weights down their bodies to their heads. They halved themselves in the dark water. Again, there's still a kind of ominous tone here. Things aren't quite sorted just yet. Icebergs, obviously very dangerous. Any Titanic fans will know that. Of white feather paused before returning again, like boats righting in rough weather. So obviously we have the emergence of a simile here, like boats righting in rough weather. And it's to show that there is hope. The emerging idea that this will be okay. They mate for life, you said as you left. We have some direct speech. And the you is it's not the listener, it's another character. So it's obviously like the speaker's partner. Porcelain over the stilling water. Porcelain reflecting the kind of beauty of swans. I, the first person, if we're thinking just briefly about structure, that first person narrative emerging. I didn't reply, but as we moved on through the afternoon light, so now things are starting to brighten, to reflect a growing happiness. Slow stepping in the lake shingle and sand, I noticed our hands. Now the word our here shows together, same time, that had somehow swum the distance between us. We've got this nice little metaphor here. The distance between us, and then we have actually a physical distance between this penultimate stanza and the final stanza. But what closes it? They fold like swans over one another like a pair of wings settling after a fight. Then we have this language of doubles, pairs, two. One becoming two. Now, in terms of the rhythm and rhyme, well, it's actually quite almost like free verse, isn't it, this poem? We look here, all break, walked, earth, feet apart, us, unison, heads, water again. Really, there's no rhyme. It's just free. But here, sand and hands, the rhyme emerges as the couple reunite. So it's almost like they're scattered sort of around at random, and then as they come together, we see the rhyme solidify that. Really, really beautiful poem. Thank you for listening.